Move on to question number 2 on our KGW 3-on-3 Blazers. You can find it at kgw.com. Should the Blazers make significant changes to their lineup or rotation before Game 3?
So I think Stotts has already said he's considering lineup changes, and I think the obvious change is going to be putting Maurice Harkless into the starting small forward position, but I don't think that's a significant change.
No.
I think that's
I don't even think that's a change.
Yeah.
I just think he's back.
He's just getting
exactly.
his starting position back. So then the question becomes, do you make larger changes elsewhere? And I don't think you're going to even consider, putting Lillard or McCollum on the bench.
Oh, no.
They're the stars. But Yusuf Nurkic has been very ineffective in this series.
Yeah.
He's ineffective on defense because he can't guard Anthony Davis and he can't guard Nikola Mirotic. And the thing with both of those players is they're versatile enough that they pull Nurkic out of the lane. And so he can't be in there to provide what he does best on defense, which is rim protection. So it's hurting the Blazers' defense. And he's also ineffective on offense, not just because he's shooting 42% in the series, but because he can't stretch the floor. That allows Anthony Davis to stay in the paint and just swallow up anything that tries to come inside. And so the Blazers are struggling to, they actually have a lot of points in the paint, but they're struggling to score on penetration at the rim, and that's partly because Anthony Davis doesn't have to move out to guard someone like Nurkic because he's inside too.
I don't think the starting lineup outside of Harkless is going to change, but I think that switch to take Nurkic out of the game and not bring him back in, I think that leash is much shorter at this point in the series because the only guys for the Blazers who have a positive plus-minus are the 4 bench players that have played in this series. Ed Davis, Zach Collins, and Pat Connaughton. Maurice Harkless came off the bench earlier. He also has a positive. Those are the only guys with a positive plus-minus in this series. And Ed Davis and Zach Collins, when you have Mirotic and Davis out there, they're versatile enough that, especially with Zach Collins, where he can defend on the outside as well as compete down low in the blocks. And if Nurkic isn't giving you anything offensively, as Jared said, we figured going into the series he was probably going to be a liability on defense. It was just, could he give you the effort he gave against the Pelicans at the end of the regular season, where he averaged 20 points in those final 2 games? And he hasn't given that to you. So I think Terry Stotts will be much quicker with that hook on Nurkic if things start slowly again here tonight to bring Ed Davis or Zach Collins in and give them more minutes. And Zach Collins has provided a bit of an offensive lift as well, and Ed Davis continues to do what he always does, which is battle down low, get rebounds, and clean up on the glass.
And you've kind of seen that leash on Nurkic tighten up, haven't you? Where he's not coming back in when you thought maybe he would.
He didn't come back in. I mean, he was hurt, but he didn't come back.
The injury.
It might have been the injury, but it may not have been. He didn't come back in at all.
And according to him, he was available. According to
Stotts.
Stotts.
He said.
For what it's worth.
Yeah. So he chose not to bring Nurkic back in. So I think we've already seen that. But outside of that, I don't really see there's much the Blazers can do.
Right. And that's the way I answered this. I don't think it's because of the word significant that we use in there. Like, Stotts is an offensive guy. He's going to make adjustments. He's going to tweak the offense. There's always going to be, wrinkles in the offense, different things that they can do to try and maybe get Dame going early or maybe get Yusuf involved somehow. But this is what got you here. Yeah. This is the team that you are. You don't rock the boat at this time. You don't panic. And even going into just the way that these games have ended, they've been close games.
I know.
We're talking game management in the final 2 to 3 minutes. Can you hit a shot? Can you get a loose ball? No turnovers. This is what it comes down to in the playoffs. And so this is what it's going to be all the way through.
Yeah, that's one thing about this series is that it feels like the Blazers have lost by 20
twice.
No,
they've been in position to win these games.
They lost by 2. And then they lost by 9 and led with about 4 minutes to go in Game 2. And so you're right. While it feels like we're talking about something that feels like a lot of things have to go right for the Blazers to turn around, really not much does have to turn around. I mean, all it's going to take is maybe Drew Holiday goes cold for a game and Dame just plays average for a game, and there you go. The Blazers steal Game 3 and they're right back in the series. Sure. And so we act like this is a long shot, and because of the 7% that we all know, when you're down 0-2, only 7% have come back to win the series.
That's a good point.
But really, they're not that far away from winning these games.
No, and that was another minor surprise that I had, was just the way they closed Game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, offensive rebounds, turnovers, just things you wouldn't expect a team that had played this well to do.
Okay, so
That's heartbreaking, I think.
getting back into the lineup change, I agree with you. I don't think Stotts is going to make big changes in the starting lineup, but the playoffs are also about adjustment.
Sure.
And what's been really bad through these first 2 games has been the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Yusuf Nurkic has the 3rd worst net rating on the team, and Al-Farouq Aminu I actually think he's played well, but he has the worst.
Yeah. It's like minus 24.
So it's not working right now. And honestly, do you see in the next 2 games, let's say, do you see Yusuf Nurkic all of a sudden becoming effective against the Pelicans starting lineup?
No.
I don't. And I think Aminu is going to be what Aminu is. And so if it's not working and you need to make adjustments to save your season, maybe you should consider it. Maybe you should put Harkless in the starting lineup. And we know that Ed Davis and Zach Collins are effective together. They have been all season. They've been very effective in the playoffs together. So I think that Stotts should at least consider moving those 3 players into the starting lineup. I mean, Nurkic might be more impactful and effective coming off the bench against the Pelicans bench unit, where he's not as much of a liability as he is against Anthony Davis and Nikola Mirotic. It's a big change, and usually you don't see those kind of changes, but I don't think you can just throw it aside because that's not the way it's usually done. You're also not usually down 0-2 after having home court advantage.
I mean, the Pelicans starting 5 has owned the Blazers. They're that group is plus 33 when they play on the floor together so far in this series. The Blazers starting lineup, and they're not doing it just only against the Blazers starting lineup, because plus minus, the Blazers are only -2 when that starting lineup's out there for the whole series. But obviously that group of 5 players for the Pelicans is causing trouble for the Blazers. And it's going to take a lot of guts for Terry Stotts to
pull out. And I don't know if it would be the right choice.
And that's why I'm not so sure he'll go that drastically to make that change.
He's not doing it.
But I think he will be quicker to make that switch here tonight.
I think you have to go with what your team is used to at this point, at least to get into the game. You have to. I just think doing that right now, you could end up being down 17 or down 19 or whatever it was again. And you're in a hole. But yeah, Harkless is a no-brainer. Harkless has to be in the starting lineup. Maurice, what Al-Farouq Aminu has given you is not enough. It's not good enough.
Well, I don't think Harkless is going to replace Aminu in the starting lineup.
No.
Aminu would still be there.
No, but I'm saying if you're going to change anything, I think you got to look at what Aminu's doing or not doing. Yeah.